On April 4th, 2024, a $9 million lawsuit filed on a third grade girl's behalf after a gang rape by classmates at her school in Portland, Oregon, became public. This story contains mature content for adults only. Lawyers for an 11-year-old girl filed a $9 million lawsuit against Portland Public Schools, alleging the district and an after-school program failed to protect the then third grader from ongoing sexual harassment, culminating in the 9-year-old's rape by two male students in a school bathroom, which was viewed by multiple other students who have now normalized gang rape. According to a suit filed in the Multnomah County Circuit County Court, the school district and a nonprofit after-school program failed to protect the girl following a series of escalating sexual assault incidents that teachers couldn't have cared less about. Since 2022, no public official has spoken up for this girl, nor have any Portland Public School employees been fired, despite the Scott Elementary School nurse insisting to this day she knows nothing about the incident. Scott Elementary School is rated A for diversity of student body and a C or C- for everything else, with less than 1 in 5 students proficient in math and reading, so their priorities are totally wrong. The court documents allege during the 2021-2022 school year, the girl was attending Scott Elementary School in Northeast Portland, as well as an after-school program called Schools Uniting Neighborhoods, or SUN. The program is run by the nonprofit Latino Network and may be called SUN School, which runs until 5:30 p.m., but I couldn't confirm whether it was SUN School she was participating in. After-school programs are a necessity for many parents who have to work full-time jobs or multiple jobs, while the vast majority of illegals are on welfare. According to the allegations in the document filed, the child had faced several incidents of non-consensual sexual touching by male classmates while attending the school and the after-school program, including an incident where a boy touched her genital area over her clothes while a teacher was present, saw it, and did nothing. Portland Public Schools insists on handling all inappropriate behavior through a Title IX coordinator, which means the girl was left without all help, as anyone who actually cared at the school would have insisted on bureaucratic process instead of being a hero. In another alleged incident in March 2022, a second male classmate, probably encouraged by the first, touched the girl unwantedly, and she tried to protect herself by hitting him in the face. The document states Scott Elementary School staff were much more aware of this incident, and they suspended the boy and the girl, and they told the girl's father they would make a safety plan for her. Imagine the mental state of this little girl. Put yourself in her shoes for a second. Here she is trying to defend herself from an onslaught of abuse, looking for help from authority figures, and she gets punished. So much for believe all women, so much for #MeToo, so much for the woke movement, which should all be tossed in the trash by basis of this incident alone. Then in April 2022, the lawsuit reports 2 different male classmates in the girls' after-school program, again likely influenced by seeing there's no consequences, threatened the 9-year-old and told her to tell the staff she had to go to the bathroom. There is also a report that the male classmates threatened the staff and told them they would find out where they lived if they did anything. These are elementary school kids. Who would heed the threat? Were the threats backed up by the Latino Network and SUN staff who were given employment in Scott Elementary? The school nurse is Hispanic. The principal's advisors are Hispanic. What was going on here? The girl complied with the threats and went to the bathroom. The documents then allege the 2 male classmates followed her, which was ignored by all the teachers, locked her in a stall, removed her clothing, and took turns raping her. The girl told the attackers to stop and tried to escape, but they blocked the door and, much bigger than her, prevented her from leaving while smiling. Multiple other students heard the commotion and watched. Teachers probably heard it too, but did nothing. You're probably asking yourself, how can this be fixed? It can't. You know why? Across Central and South America, this is normal. This is cultural diversity. 10% of Nicaraguan girls are married by the time they are 13 and having sex with older men. 35% of children in Nicaragua are married by the time they are 18. Nonprofits such as Girls Not Brides skew the data and call the marriages unions. But these are sexual relationships. 19% of boys in Nicaragua are married or in a union before the age of 18, and parents encourage this behavior. You're not going to change this with some anti-racism campaign. You are going to change it with mass deportations. Child marriage and rape is what is believed in Central and South America. They don't believe in reporting this behavior as abnormal. Let's look at the Latino Network, which was an active participant in this entire ordeal. Their website advertises themselves as grounded in culturally specific practices and services. That's right. Child marriage is a culturally specific practice that they would uphold. Their values are, quote, Latino empowerment, not empowerment for little girls, not empowerment for all, Latino empowerment. Their culture is committed to their languages and diversity, not American culture. This is their own diversification, forced diversification, abusing American children. In their social justice section, they state they want to bring about social change. That's right. The normalization of child marriage in North America is a social change. What's even more disgusting is taxpayer dollars fund this nonprofit. And the Latino Network is headed by a woman who should understand how this little girl felt because she was a little girl at some point. But no, Chaird Rodriguez is committed to Latino home ownership in Oregon, not English proficiency, not limiting the welfare rate, not limiting gang rape, but buying the homes of aging Oregonians and giving them to Latinos. Quote, after the incident, plaintiff rinsed her mouth with water to wash the germs from the unwanted kissing out of her mouth, the document says. These boys were kissing this little girl. Where did they learn that but at home? Following the assault, the lawsuit states the father of one of the boys reported his son and the incident to elementary school staff. How? Was the son bragging about it? How else would the father have known? The court document then claims that after being notified of the sexual assault, the elementary school and SUN staff, which is dedicated to forcing inner-city children onto suburban school populations, failed to immediately notify law enforcement and instead launched an internal investigation. They knew that the child had been penetrated. They knew the school contains mandated reporters, right, who have to report. The internal investigation involved interviewing the girl without first alerting the police or her guardian about the sexual assault to give consent. So did they pressure this little girl? Did they threaten her in the interview? Talk about Miranda rights violations. In the days after the attack, the victim's father became aware and spoke to the school and elementary school staff again. He was allegedly told the attackers would remain at school under a, quote, safety plan, which the only difference in their lives was that they would have separate lunch periods from the girl. So they were still there in the classrooms, in the hallways, on the buses, at the gym, absolutely everywhere. And teachers had already proven that they could not have cared less, that this girl was a known target, a known victim, and they could not have cared less. The father rightfully did not believe this would protect his daughter and disenrolled her from Scott Elementary. The abuser classmates were allowed to remain at Scott Elementary and continued with their education after a one-day suspension was brought. No criminal charges were brought against them or their parents. It seems they weren't interviewed without their parents and their Miranda rights were respected. The lawsuit continues that the victim's father took the victim to a children's hospital since the school nurse insisted nothing happened, and a child abuse program was also consulted after the attack. The staff at this child abuse program, so again, he had to rely on resources totally outside of the Portland public school community, indicating its widespread failure, that there was physical and mental evidence of sexual and physical abuse. And again, there was evidence of this days after the attack, indicating how absolutely heinous it was. Since this event, it seems Scott Elementary has been removed from SUN School's participant list online, but there's nothing to indicate SUN won't be audited by the Portland Department of Revenue to show they participated in child rape, waste of taxpayer resources, bribery, or constitutional violation around interrogation of the little girl by private parties. So what can you do? In the sources section of this video, please find websites to contact Scott Elementary School faculty, as well as members of Portland City government who, again, have made no public comment on this since it happened in 2022. SUN programs and the Latino Network should be audited and stripped of their funding, which you can report to the federal government, as should all of these programs should be stripped of their funding due to their lack of emergency response and deliberate endangerment of children.